Nugent campaigned with Texas gubernatorial candidate Greg Abbott yesterday. Democrats slammed Abbott for aligning himself with Nugent, who recently called the president of the United States, quote, a subhuman mongrel. I want to play for you exactly what he said with the full context.
I have obviously failed to galvanize and prod, if not shame, enough Americans to be ever vigilant not to let a Chicago communist-raised, communist-educated, communist-nurtured, subhuman mongrel like the Acorn community organizer gangster Barack Hussein Obama to weasel his way into the top office of authority in the United States of America.
All right, so after that happened, my colleague Wolf Blitzer reported on Nugent's use of the racially loaded term subhuman mongrel. Now, he noted it's a term that Nazis called Jews to justify the genocide of the Jewish community. They used both the word subhuman and mongrel in multiple events and editorials. Then Nugent attacked this network and Wolf with tweets saying, quote, CNN, Joseph Goebbels, Saul Alinsky, propaganda ministry mongrels. And Wolf Blitzer is a journalist, and I'm a gay pirate from Cuba. Joining me now, conservative commentator Ben Ferguson and Democratic strategist Paul Begala. All right, you are both great men from the state of Texas, where these things happen. Ben, before though, I mean, obviously there is some humor in this, but there is also, something deadly serious, and that is this term subhuman mongrel. I mean, that's not saying you dislike the president or even hate his policies, which we all know Ted Nugent does, right? Subhuman mongrel is a term used by white supremacists. It's a term used in Nazi Germany. It's racist.
It certainly is a term that any politician would not use, and most people that would be talking about these subjects would not use. But we're not dealing with most people. We're dealing with a rock star here. We're dealing with rock stars like Pearl Jam that took a blow-up doll of George Bush out on a stage in Birmingham, Alabama that I witnessed, and no one freaked out about that. We're dealing with people like Dave Grohl that mocked the President of the United States of America from the Foo Fighters, and no one cared about that. We're dealing with Dave Matthews, who said he would get the president drunk and help him become an alcoholic again if it would get him out of the White House. These are what rock stars say, and to act like he's not some inflammatory, crazy rock star, I do think is a little bit funny, just from the aspect of we're not talking about a pastor, a priest, or a politician. He's a crazy nut job rock star, and people go to his shows to see just that happen.
All right, all that may be true, but and Ben, let me ask this to Paul, but I'm going to want your response to it.
Sure.
But he appeared introducing by the side of the front runner for governor of Texas at a political event. So it was okay for that politician to be with him. Is that okay, Paul?
I think that's where the story goes, Aaron. Look, I've interviewed Ted Nugent. Ben is completely wrong. He's not a star. He's a has-been. He was a star in the first year.
Concert. They will disagree.
Excuse me for talking while you're interrupting, Mr. Ferguson. He was a star in the first year of the Carter administration. Before, I mean, certainly before we even had CDs, much less the internet. The guy is a washed-up hack who's trying to keep himself relevant by being a controversialist. I get that. And what he said, of course, is offensive. It's racist. But the First Amendment still applies, by the way, to hack rock and rollers who are washed up and racist, okay, or say racist things. Still applies. And by the way, we've talked about this, Aaron, on other programs. People said the same or worse about Jefferson and Lincoln. So that's not, to me, where the story is most interesting. What's most interesting as a political strategist is how Greg Abbott, the Attorney General of Texas, running for governor, how and why his team said, let's associate with him. They knew what they were getting. This is really puzzling to me, because Abbott is not a stupid man. And why would he associate himself with somebody who always says, he's been saying these things for decades? That's what's interesting, and I can't figure that out. It's really hurting Greg Abbott. It's a really dumb move for Greg Abbott.